Now, Sheikh, if it's okay, I'm gonna hit you with a little bit of a curveball. It's not a gotcha question.
Okay,
but a genuine situation
Yeah.
that I'm sure happens often,
Mhm.
and it's one that I'd probably come across.
Sure.
So instead of it being someone that's intellectually curious,
Yeah.
that wants to learn,
Yeah.
that wants to know why it's that.
Sure.
How about someone that it's in their life? So, for example,
Yeah.
I'm in your office. Someone comes to your office, Chaplain Bajwa, I have a serious concern. You know, he steps in and you say, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
And then he says, can I shut the door?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something big, right?
Yeah.
And he says, Chaplain Bajwa, I'm gay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just point blank.
Yeah.
I haven't told anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
My family doesn't know. My friends don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared about how they're gonna react. What
Yeah.
should you as a because this is
Yeah.
way out
Yeah.
of your bounds, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is like I'm not here for that. I'm just a chaplain.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a situation that maybe even the fiqh itself isn't fully developed. Like maybe there's like for example, the first time I heard a lecture about LGBTQ
Yeah.
was by Sheikh Qadi, and it came out last week.
Yeah.
You know, it's the
Sure.
first time that someone
Yeah.
because before that it was no, it's just haram.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're actually getting some understanding about how to because you're gonna
We're engaging with it.
yeah how because we have coworkers that are like we have
Yeah.
family that are you know so now it's
Yeah.
actually let's explain it so
Sure.
it isn't fully developed on how
Yeah.
to live with that
Yeah.
and so you're in a situation where you're on the front lines
Yeah.
of modern fiqh, right?
Yeah.
You're on the front lines of what the ijtihad is,
Yeah.
rather than the sheikh that's sitting at the masjid.
Sure.
And I'm not putting them down. I'm
No,
just
I get
saying
it. Understood.
that at the masjid they're probably dealing with marital issues. You
Yeah.
know, zakat. How much zakat do I pay?
My
Whereas-
401k and
exactly.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Whereas you
Yeah.
you get the really tough questions. You're in the hot seat basically.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that kind of guy that walks in?
No, it's a great question. I appreciate the honesty, and I mean, we've got to like roll up our sleeves and really kind of jump in. So I take that to heart. You know what I would say, and I've had situations like that that I can share with you. And so going back to what I just said a little bit earlier, a lot of it is that I want to get to know them and where they're coming from, right? So I'll just for simplification purposes, right? There's someone that's coming and maybe saying it as in like, it's almost sort of like a, for lack of a better term, just I'm thinking it's off the top of my head. It's more sort of like not aggressive, but they're just like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you? They're like testing you. They're like,
Right,
what
right.
do you think about me?
Exactly.
And my whole thing is that it doesn't matter what I think about you. How do you feel about it? Like, I want to know your thoughts. Like, have you come and affirmed this yourself? And are you comfortable with this? And if not, like, how can I help you? Like, do you want me to talk through, or just you want a conversation partner? I've also had people that have come, and I've had those scenarios.
Yeah.
And I've had scenarios where someone has just been like, I can't talk to my imam at home. I can't talk to my community. They're like literally not even from my community. They're like, they know of me. They call me from like states away.
Right.
And they're like, I got to talk to you about something really, really important. I'm like, yeah. So we had a phone conversation, and then, this young man is crying on the phone, and he said exactly that. But his where he came from was like, I love my deen. I love Islam. I pray, I fast, I read Quran, but like I've struggled with this for a long time. I'm coming to accept the terms that in college I've really kind of like, this is who I am. Right. And I don't know what to do about that. You see, it's a very different perspective they're coming from. I think like they're both acknowledging or telling me that they identify as gay, but they're coming from very different places is my point. And so with that, again, I'm going to start with, tell me about yourself. Who are you? I want to get to know you. And then how does this part of your identity, how do you feel that fits in with your Muslim identity? Like, let's explore that together. And, one thing that I will say that I tell everyone is that, like, there's the fiqh. I'm not going to make any ijtihad on this fiqh. There's the normative fiqh that I believe. There's also like opinions out there that scholars, that's the job of the great fuqaha to delve into real deep stuff with this. But what I leave them with is the point that I want to make is that, at the end of the day, that this is one aspect, and we acknowledge that aspect, but our deen is very vast and wide, right? How do you feel about salah? How do you feel about zakah? How do you feel about Quran, about birr al-walidain, honoring and respecting and loving your parents and your elders? How do you feel about taking care of the indigent and the poor and the homeless and the needy and things like that, right? This is the akhlaq of a Muslim, right?
Sure.
Akhlaq an-nabawiyyah, the prophetic character of Sallallahu that we want to. So, I mean, and that to me, that gives a total picture of who that person is as a Muslim, right? If it comes, because I don't want to dodge the question, right? If it comes, and they say like, well, because there is the principle in deen, right? You can't make the halal into the haram, and you can't make the haram into the halal, right? If they want to explore that conversation, then we can have that conversation, and I'll tell them what I think about it. And I say, you asked me, this is what I think about it, but I also want to know the rest of the aspect of what you think about the deen and whatnot. But what I would say is, from my perspective as a chaplain, to kind of come full circle with that is, they're coming to me presumably in a moment of crisis. They're looking for a listening ear. They're looking for someone to empathize with them. And my job is to really just be that empathetic presence and to be like, I understand you probably go through, I can't even imagine the level of alienation, the level of induced anxiety that you're going through, right? With your family, with your friends. If you've kept it hidden, if you come out to your community or come out to certain people, your friends, but not your parents or your siblings, like there's layers and layers of stress with this. And so my job is to say that, like, I want to be this a place of empathy and comfort for you, right? As you either explore that or other aspects of your deen, right? I mean, I've known people who identified as gay in campus communities, and I'm not saying by any stretch there's anything special about me, right? Many of my amazing colleagues across the country that do this work have more experiences than I have on this. They come to Jummah. They want to come to Jummah. They come to the salawat, right? They come to events. And this is an aspect of their identity that they struggle with in their community and in themselves. So it's real. Yeah,
I hear you. So I think what I hear you saying is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're saying is that you don't want to jump the gun and say this is halal or this is haram, but you really want to, see what their situation is in life, build them up.
Yeah.
And then let's say they disagree. Like if they completely disagree.
Yeah.
Well, at least they're still Muslim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what your approach is.
Absolutely.
Right?
No, I think that's a great summary of it. Yeah.
Okay. I hear you.
Do you love Allah? Do you love His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Do you see the value of prayer? Like the value of the fara'id of our deen, of the arkan of our deen. Yeah.
Right. I hear you. So